Whatever it takes, I know I can make it through. A Degrassi podcast with Kelsey and Holland too. I know I can make it through.
Hi, and welcome to Whatever It Takes, a podcast about Degrassi, the Next Generation. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Holland, and today we're talking about Season 10, Episodes 15 and 16, My Body is a Cage. And Kelsey, will you please read us the YouTube summary?
Sure, it's nice and short. Adam's hopes of fitting in are crushed when everyone discovers he is transgender. Anya suspects her mother is having an affair, but what she discovers ends up being even worse.
Very accurate.
Short, sweet, to the point.
I don't even remember the C plot. Well, I'm glad they didn't include the C plot because I just remembered it and it was terrible. Also, I looked on the wiki and it is Leia's last episode. So, I don't know. We might have to do a eulogy for her.
We'll have to. We'll eulogize.
But the episode is called My Body is a Cage, which is a 2007 Arcade Fire song. I think it's pretty spot on.
They nailed
for
it.
this episode.
They nailed it.
Because Adam feels like his body is a cage. It is female, and he is not a female. Boom. Doesn't work for any of the other plots, but it doesn't have to.
No, this is perfect. It's good.
All right.
Well done, Degrassi.
So, Drew and Adam are getting dropped off at school. And I guess they're getting there early, and Adam's complaining about it. I don't really know. And then he's complaining about being in remedial gym, and he wants to be in, like, a normal gym class. But his mom is like, you can't be a normal gym, because if people find out, I don't want you to get hurt. Blah, blah, blah.
These are valid concerns.
Yeah. Like, even though his mom is kind of problematic at
Super
points
problematic
in the episode, her number one concern is always his safety, which I think is still pretty good. Like, yeah. But then she wants him to be Gracie for when Grandma comes to visit. And Adam is not having any of this. And it's clear that even though his mom is, like, kind of... she isn't outright, like, appalled by this situation, or she's like as accepting as she can be, but she still isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell she's like doing her best, but
yeah,
she just like hasn't quite let go.
Exactly, that's the main thing. And then he's at his locker, and Eli comes. He's like looking in a mirror in his locker, and Eli comes by with like a Michael Jackson Man in the Mirror reference.
Yes, he does.
And then Claire, like, drives by and is like, rewrite your story. The character you wrote is a floozy. Bye.
And we find out that the protagonist in Eli's story is named, like, Clara Edwin. It's like, of course it is.
Oh, boy. And then we're in dance class, and Adam thinks before gym class, Adam is like, Bianca's hot. I want to dance with her in gym. Meh.
And we all think this is a terrible idea and this will end poorly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Bianca is not known for her sensitivity.
No. And then we're with Anya, and she's at home, and she's like, oh, Mom, take me to school. And her mom's like, I can't. I'm sick, and you have to take the bus. And that's kind of all that happens.
Pretty much.
And then we are in the ballroom dancing class. Oh, yeah. Also, when I looked on the wiki, it was like special guest star. The person who plays this dance instructor, whose name I already forgot. Apparently, he's like a big ballroom dancing deal in Canada, but I have no idea who he is. But I felt the need to mention it because the wiki pointed it out, even though I forgot his name already.
Are there big ballroom dancing stars? I
don't fucking know, but apparently it was like special guest. And then the dumb dance teacher is like calling roll. Is he like a like a sub, or
I think he's like just a
taking
special
over
teacher
for the dance unit class.
Yeah.
And he's like calling roll, and he blows up Adam's spot and calls out Gracie instead of Adam, and it's kind of awkward, and I feel very bad for him.
Me too. It hurt me a little, and I was like, oh god, he made that name slip so obvious.
Yeah. And then
I continue to hate that Dave and Wes are into Ms. O, like in such a
so
gross
much.
way. It reminds me so much of like, I feel like we've like traveled back in time to the days of like
Miss Hot
Age.
Sauce.
Ugh.
Yeah, I hate it so much. And then we find out Dave has a C in media immersion and Wes has an A+. And then...
Is anyone surprised?
No. And then, I don't know, Wesley's like egging him on to go talk to Miss O or whatever and to be gross about it. And she's just not having any of Dave's bullshit. And he's like, oh, I don't think I deserve a C on that, like... project. And she's like, oh really, what grade do you think you deserve? And he's like, I don't know, an 85. And she's like, yeah, but I know I'm not having any of this.
Absolutely not.
And then Anya shows up to school late and she has to join Sav and Holly J on their like history project. And Holly J is like, we're gonna make a miniature Pompeii. And Anya's like, why don't we just do a PowerPoint? And Holly J's like, please, do you know who I am? No.
Seriously. She's like, it's 30% of our grade. We're not doing a PowerPoint.
And I just came across my first fashion note if you want to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Fashion police. Anya's red vest. I don't like it. I did not take a lot of fashion notes for this episode. I'm just going to throw that out there.
This is not fashion related, but I just wanted to say that a random girl that we've never seen before, after Dave talks to Miss O, like does the loser sign on her forehead.
Claire's wearing like a denim vest and a salmon like shirt dress thing at one point that I was not a fan of. I liked Anya's like blue and white floral top.
Did I not take any fashion notes?
I really didn't take a lot. Anya's giant seafoam bag is my last one.
Adam at one point wears one of those beanies with like a brim.
Yep.
And I definitely owned like 2 of those. They're not a good look, but I definitely had a few, and they're super like 2008.
I think we've talked about this before, but I definitely never owned one of those.
I definitely owned a few.
I feel like my brother might have. I don't know.
I had a few, because I was like, you know, emo 2008.
Yeah, I don't have any other ones. Just that Adam's clothes are so baggy because I thought he was so much bigger than he was when we see him wear girl clothes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like Adam is super tiny, but his big clothes make him look like bulkier, which I'm sure is the idea.
Oh, Dave is wearing like a Burberry like knockoff hat, basically. Do you remember when Burberry was the thing?
Yeah. This is probably also around the time when like Juicy was a thing. Like Juicy bags and Juicy perfume.
Oh my god. I feel like that was earlier, but maybe I'm just thinking of like the sweatsuits.
I think you're thinking of the track suits, because that was definitely earlier.
Yeah, that was like 2003.
Like in high school, I remember like getting a juice, or maybe even in middle school. Between middle school and high school, it was all about like those Juicy purses that were like that like velvet velour, I don't know, material with like the emblems, and
so tacky, just so
they
tacky.
Were so bad, but everybody wanted one.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
I took almost all of my fashion notes are about hats, so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Holly J and Sav are sitting very close together, and Anya is not stoked to be partnered with them, and they are not stoked for her to be partnered with them either, because like, how are they gonna hide their weird relationship?
But then we're in dance class, and Adam is like stepping up to be Bianca's dance partner. Oh, and this is when I realized how like Adam is actually pretty tall, because he's definitely taller than Bianca.
Yeah.
And it's kind of flirty. And
there's some sexual tension. Also, can I just say, I don't think tango is ballroom dancing. They're like, it's a ballroom dancing class, but then they tango.
I feel like it's a type of, I mean, I think any kind of like structured dance, like the waltz or the swing dance, or I don't know. I feel like maybe it all goes into one category.
Maybe.
But I have no idea. But then we're with Dave, and he's with Mr. Perino, and he's like quoting The Godfather, and then he is thus exposed as a teacher's pet, which Connor calls him. And it's like, oh, so this is why he's freaking out about Miss O, because he can't use his teacher's pet shit on her.
Pretty much. But also, like, Mr. Perino would recommend The Godfather.
He's like, oh, I watched that super old movie you recommended to me. It's like, come on, Dave. And then we are with Anya, and she and Leia go home during lunch because Anya wants to bring her mom soup. Anya wants to bring her mom soup because she's sick.
Which is very sweet.
And they get there, and she's not home, and she left her wedding ring on the table. And Leia's like, it's obvious she's having an affair. I read about it in Sizzle Teen. It's just Leia just stirring up shit like always.
Leia needs to stop reading Sizzle Teen. If we've learned anything from this
Seriously.
show, it's that Leia plus Sizzle Teen is no good.
Seriously, that's how you broke up with Danny, basically.
Yep. But my initial instinct was also that she was having an affair, literally until Leia said it, and I was like, well, Leia said it.
Exactly.
She's definitely not having an
she's
affair.
not. And then we're with Adam, and he's being super flirty with Bianca, and then all of a sudden he, like, bails, and is like, ugh, oh my god, and then he, like, runs to his locker, and then somebody runs into him, or I guess Claire runs into him?
Claire's with him, and then, like, oh yeah, Claire runs into him, and then he, like, drops tampons all over the floor, but then these, like, football guys come up and are being dicks, and Claire is amazing and is like, silly me, just dropping all of my feminine sanitary products all over. And they're like, ew, get it together.
And Claire is being super clutch and very awesome.
Because she's the best.
And then Adam runs away. And then the next scene is a binding montage with Adam, and which is kind of interesting to see. And then Drew is like pounding on the bathroom door and is like, oh, hurry up, you didn't take this long when you were a girl. And then Adam opens up the door and he's like, I was never a girl, idiot. And Drew's like, yeah, but I got you to open the door, haha. And I love how close they are.
Me too. I love their, like, relationship. It makes me very happy.
I know. And then their mom comes by. Oh, then his mom is like,
yeah. She switches the pronouns.
Yeah.
She, like, calls up the stairs, but she switches the pronouns, and Adam's like, she does that on purpose.
Yeah. And then we're with Anya, and she's interrogating her mom, and it's like, just flat out, it's like, you're having an affair, because Anya never has any chill.
Nope.
And then her mom is like, what are you talking about? And she's like, all right, I took those wedding rings off because I was having an MRI, and I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to worry you. And then it's like, oh boy, why is she getting an MRI? This is kind of scary. And then I think we're with Claire and Eli, and I was like, oh, Claire, why did you tell Eli? But
of course she did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, oh man, why did you have to tell Eli?
And she's like, I don't know why he had tampons. Like, I don't know, a nosebleed? I'm like, okay, she's the man reference. And then, but then Adam comes by. They're like outside on the picnic tables. And Adam comes by and he's like, and he's thanking her for covering for him. And then and then they're like, all right, you don't have to, I think Eli's like, all right, no worries, dude. Like, you don't have to tell us anything you don't want to tell us. And I'm like, oh, he's being so nice by not pressuring him.
He's so great.
And then he comes out to them as trans, and
Claire's
like,
face is so shocked.
Yeah.
But she does not know how to react.
But then he's like, ask me anything, like, let me educate you, which I thought was and then Claire's like, so does that mean you're gay? And he's like, no, I identify as a boy who likes girls, which makes me a straight guy, I think. And then Eli's like, cool.
Yeah, he's just like great about the whole thing. But also I'm like, yeah, I'm very...
the scene is so nice and important and educational.
It's so good. Yeah. And they're just being very cool. And I'm actually very proud of Claire because she doesn't, like, take it as well as Eli does. She's, like, you know, asking a lot of questions and, like her face is a little, like, shocked and stuff. But as someone who comes from, like, that kind of, like, intense Christian background... Yeah. Like, the fact that she's, like, just rolling with the punches is great.
Darcy would not have been as chill about this as
No,
Claire.
Darcy would have been a dick about it.
Yeah. And Eli is like, but wait, does this mean I can't fart in front of you anymore? And Adam was like, I would be like offended if you didn't. And I was like, oh, they're still fine. And it's so nice.
They're so good. Boys are gross, but they're so good.
And then fucking Dave and company are face range stalking